Hi everyone. Today I'll be looking at how to write invertible counterpoint at the 12th. For additional information on this topic and on invertible counterpoint in general, please see my videos listed below. According to the inversion chart for this type of counterpoint, when inverted, most consonant intervals remain consonant and most dissonant intervals remain dissonant. The only exception is the consonant 6th, which inverts to a dissonant 7th. By relating this information to a scale, we can see what harmonic implications these inversions have. For example, in the key of C major, the 12th inverting to a unison implies root position harmony. Because the leading note supports the diminished triad, however, it should only be used in first inversion unless it contains a 7th. The 11th inverting to a second implies second inversion and third inversion harmony. If writing in a modern style, these intervals can imply third inversion 7th chords on each degree of the scale. In more traditional styles, however, it is the supertonic, leading note and dominant which will most often support 7th chords, while the subdominant and submediant will do so only occasionally. The tonic and mediant are extremely unlikely to support 7ths. The 11th and second intervals can also form 4-3 and 2-3 suspensions on any degree, provided they are correctly prepared and resolved. The 10th inverting to a third can imply 3 different chords. For example, here, these notes imply the submediant in first inversion and root position, the tonic in root position, and the subdominant in first inversion. Because of the interval of inversion, the root notes of the subdominant and tonic are a 5th or 12th apart. The 9th inverting to a 4th implies a 7th chord in third inversion and second inversion harmony. The 4th can only be used to imply an allowable second inversion chord, such as a passing or cadential 6/4. The octave inverting to a 5th implies 2 chords, both in root position. For example, here the octave Cs imply root position tonic harmony, and the 5th implies root position subdominant harmony. Again, the root notes of these 2 chords lie a 5th or 12th apart. The 7th inverting to a 6th implies the same chord in root position and first inversion. The root position chord, however, includes a 7th, while the first inversion does not. The remaining columns are inversions of the first 6 and therefore produce the same harmonic possibilities. Obviously, these intervals can interact in more ways than simply note against note. Combinations of 2, 3, or 4 notes against 1, as well as any other combination available with non-invertible counterpoint, is available here. The only difference being, with invertible counterpoint, all harmonic considerations for each combination of parts must be considered, and all dissonance must be treated accordingly. With care, the dissonant intervals can be incorporated so that bad part writing and forbidden consecutives are avoided. One way to achieve this is to place the dissonance on offbeats, or if used on the beat, treat it as a non-harmony note or suspension. For example, the following 4th is here treated as an accented passing note, which moves to a consonant 3rd, and when inverted, another 3rd. The same 4th can also be treated as a 4-3 suspension, which inverts as a 2-3 suspension. With invertible counterpoint at the 12th, the 4-3 and 2-3 suspensions are the most effective. The other suspensions, when inverted, either lose the dissonance or no longer behave as a suspension. For clarity, here I will be using 3 staves to simultaneously show the counterpoint and inversion. When considering single note options to imply tonic D minor harmony, there is only one, A, the chord's 5th. A doubled D, when inverted, implies subdominant G minor harmony and is therefore unavailable. An F, when inverted, also implies other harmony, the submediant B-flat major chord. The A therefore is the most likely choice, as a root position tonic chord is produced when inverted. This B flat implies root position leading note diminished 7th harmony, and when inverted, a first inversion leading note triad. Another A here again implies tonic harmony. Here, the G and E notes connected by an F passing note imply root position subdominant and third inversion dominant 7th harmony. When inverted, first inversion subdominant and root position dominant 7th harmony are produced. Notice, when the parts invert, the harmony note and passing note are reversed. Here the F is a passing note, and here the C is an accented passing note. Here a 4-3 suspension is created, which resolves to the third of supertonic diminished 7th harmony in third inversion. The supertonic moves here to first inversion dominant harmony and on to tonic harmony. When inverted, however, the 2-3 suspension resolves here to the raised third of dominant harmony. The 2-3 suspension's resolution means that supertonic harmony is no longer heard, and dominant harmony now sounds for the first 2 quarter note beats of the bar. The move to tonic harmony also does not occur, and instead a submediant B-flat major chord is produced. Because this type of counterpoint inverts at the 12th, if a third interval is used, either between the root note and third of a triad, or between 2 other notes of a chord, the resulting harmony when inverted will also produce a third or 10th. For example, this D and F, the root and third of tonic harmony, inverts to a root position submediant B-flat major chord whose root note is a major third below D minor. In the following bar also, this third, which here occurs between the 5th and 7th of A dominant 7th harmony, inverts to a third between the root note and third of subtonic harmony. The root notes of these chords will often lie a third apart. Typically, the inverted chord's root note will be a third lower than the initial chord. However, here the subtonic's root note is a third above the root note of dominant 7th harmony. Here, the second inversion dominant 7th moves to a root position leading note diminished 7th chord before ending on tonic D minor harmony. As we've already seen, when inverted, here a subtonic C major chord is produced, which then moves through a first inversion leading note diminished triad to tonic harmony. In this example, when dissonances are removed, harmonically, although sixths are still occasionally present, there is a large number of third and fifth intervals. Especially in 2-part textures using invertible counterpoint at the 12th, there will be a large number of harmonic fifths and thirds forming the contrapuntal framework. As we saw on the inversion chart for this type of counterpoint, the reason for the preponderance of fifths is they invert to root position harmony, while thirds invert to tenths, and as we've seen, can therefore imply several harmonies when inverted. As with the other types of invertible counterpoint, when writing invertible counterpoint at the 12th, each part of the texture must have its own shape and possess a drive towards cadences and phrase ends. All parts must also share figures and motifs. For example, this rhythmic figure is used in both parts, as is this dotted 8th note 16th note figure, which is here used in inversion. This dotted note figure also is inverted here. Finally, to avoid creating hidden fifths and octaves, when approaching perfect consonances, remember to use either oblique or contrary motion. I hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching. See you next time.